coronavirus pandemic is impacting every corner of the country, including rural communities. Our Washington Bureau reporter, Taylor Poplar, spoke with lawmakers who represent rural parts of Ohio to find out what unique challenges their constituents are facing during these hard times.
So much news about the coronavirus pandemic is coming from cities across Ohio and the country. But the rural communities that dot the Buckeye State's landscape are fighting this virus with one hand tied behind their back.
I stay on the phone literally from about 7:30 in the morning until about 7:30 at night.
Republican Bill Johnson represents Ohio's 6th congressional district. It hugs almost the entire eastern side of the state, making it neighbors with Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Kentucky. 18 counties in total and very rural. While the number of COVID-19 cases in these parts of Ohio isn't as high as in the cities, life is still changing in serious ways for the nearly 2.4 million Ohioans who call rural communities home.
Most of our kids throughout my region of the state do not have access to broadband internet, certainly not at the speeds that would be needed to conduct online learning.
With students stuck at home and many adults being told to work remotely, the digital divide out here is a huge problem. Data company Broadband Now ranks Ohio 25th in the country for access to broadband, but in parts of Johnson's district, like Monroe County, only 27% of people have access to what the government considers accessible levels, and over 800,000 Ohioans don't have access to reliable internet at all.
This pandemic has by far put a new lens on those challenges.
Doug Miller is the vice president of statewide services for Ohio's 24 electric cooperatives that provide electricity to over 400,000 meters throughout the state. I asked him if anything can be done in the immediate future to help those stuck at home without a reliable internet connection.
In the short term, there's really not a lot that can be done. But in the long term, we are going to continue to work with our state and federal government to create access to funds so that we do bridge that digital divide between the urban and rural areas.
Another issue facing rural Ohio is access to medical care. If you don't have a reliable internet connection, then you can't use telehealth to see your doctor by video. And recent data says Ohio has only 33 hospitals in rural parts of the state and 53 rural health clinics, some of which, as Senator Rob Portman told me, are struggling.
Some of the rural hospitals in Ohio tell me they have 2, maybe 3 weeks of cash reserves left, and then they're going to have to close their doors. That can't happen.
Congressman Johnson said he feels the powers that be in Washington are actively working to fix some of these challenges, but he said his constituents in rural Ohio simply want a plan laid out to them.
They want clarity on how to get access to the help that they've been told is coming their way.
In Washington, Taylor Poplar's Spectrum News.
Johnson said that he is working with the Federal Communications Commission to try to fast-track the release of billions of dollars in what's called the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund to help lessen the digital divide. And Senator Portman pointed out that the recent coronavirus relief package passed by Congress allocated $100 billion to hospitals.